Hey everybody, just Jesse here, welcoming you back into my garage, my man cave for another day of accountability. Today's Wednesday, October 14th, the year 2020, and I read through Matthew chapter 7 today. And really we're going to take the first task of a leader, and we're going to look at it. But that first task is to define core values. So how many of us have a list of core values set up for our lives? What about even for our families' lives? Your core values are things or beliefs, if you will, that are non-negotiable to you or for your family. In the Bible, the first recorded sermon in the book of Matthew really spotlights Jesus' major emphasis for core values. Why would Jesus emphasize values first? Well, he knew the first thing was to provide them for his men. Now let's take a look at Jesus' list of core values, shall we? There's 10 of them here that we list. The first one, we are to do the right things for the right reasons. That's self-explanatory. If we do the right things for the wrong reasons, it's still wrong. The second thing we see is that we need to remember to pray for God's will, not our own. We're not God. God is here for us to fellowship with him, but to also spread the good news, the gospel, with people that don't know it. The third thing we see is that we must know that relationships in life will either make us or break us. We have to remember that when we meet with every single person that we come in contact with. What kind of testimony does your life show? Is it good or bad? That's the make or break. Next, we see that we should prioritize the eternal things, because temporary things don't matter. The houses and cars and property and everything in life fades, it goes away, but the eternal things are things of heaven that we can glorify God with. So the next thing we see is to don't sweat the small stuff. The small stuff is just stuff that's there as a roadblock to get in your way, to slow you down, but you can overcome that. Sixth, we see God's kingdom is paramount and we should seek it first. It's very important that we remember that this isn't where we're supposed to be. We're not to be of this world. We are in it for a reason, but we're not from it. So next we see that we need to judge ourselves before judging others, and that is important because if you're comparing somebody else to something else other than Jesus, you're really doing it wrong. You're not supposed to judge somebody at all. You need to look at you and put yourself, comparing yourself to Jesus. That's it. That's the only judgment that you need to look at. Eighth, we see if you need something, ask. If you have something, give it. Jesus says, if you need, ask me and I'll give it to you. So that's self-explanatory. The ninth thing we see is to stay true to our convictions. Don't wander from the narrow path. It's so easy to fall off the path and a downward spiral into something else because it's easier, because it doesn't require that much of us. So stay true to your path and your convictions. And the 10th thing we see is that obedience to God is the only true and sure foundation for life. Now that's 10 values that are left here by Jesus, the Almighty King. If you're questioning these values being from Jesus, just take a look at Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. He summarized it in just one statement. Matthew 7:12 says, "In everything you do, do it to others, as you want them to do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets." Ah, yes, that golden rule. I love this rule. It's a must-have if you're looking at values. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Matthew 7 is amazing. I dare you to get into it, read it. If you want to read a little bit into the sermon, read Matthew 6 before 7. It's really good. Once again, I dare you to do that. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you don't know what this is about, this is a video spotlighting an attempt that I'm trying to keep with God to stay in his word every day. And if it wasn't for my wife today, I wouldn't have made it, but she's really convicting and I love her for that. So this is just for accountability. And if you need accountability, if you need help in your life, if you need friends to help push you in the right direction, seek me out here or on social media. by all means, like, subscribe, hit the little bell in the top corner of the screen, and you'll get a list of my videos whenever I post them. So I hope that today finds you well. I hope that you're being safe, that you're going and growing, but most of all, that you're being blessed by God.